Carol, we're back for part two of the talk on perfection. And last time we talked about perfection, we had a lot of good ideas to present, and then they just kind of went all over the place, and it was anything but perfect, which you said so clearly was perfect in the imperfection of it all. So I wanted to kind of, so I wanted to kind of talk about that, because I know we had some feedback. I had some feedback, like, hey, we didn't really get to the point. Like, where were you guys trying to get to? And other things like, well, that's the first one, at least. So what kind of feedback did you get, just so we can kind of flesh that out, and then we'll move on to imperfections. Or no, not imperfections.
Being curious about being perfect. Okay, so the feedback that I received was that we were interesting, that they wanted to watch all of it. Some people had watched bits and pieces. I also got feedback that the idea of the podcast, or however that works, that their opportunity to listen in their car or when they can sit in front of a computer is a really great option. So that's what I got.
What about the parts that were a little not perfect?
I did not get feedback about the imperfect parts. It sounds like...
Oh, but there was exactly. So let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, ask me a question, buddy.
So you said except for our interaction. There was some feedback that you got on our interaction, particularly on my end, when we were talking about how you and I know each other and how we relate to each other, like that, remember? And I was trying to, like, no, we only have a professional relationship.
Oh, yeah, there was that one. Yes,
That's very, very interesting how you blocked that out, because that was like the forefront of what we talked about afterwards, because that's the feedback you got. And I'm trying to figure back, and it's on me, because I feel like a less than perfect individual, which is fine. but you brought that up, right?
So, right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So a few people did mention to me, why does he keep saying that it's professional, as if like there's some reason that you need to explain something about our relationship. Right.
And to tell you the truth, I don't even remember why I said that, but I remember saying that, and I remember looking back on it. And if people don't know our kind of the way we relate to each other,
right.
is pretty unique.
Yes.
Not standard by any means. We met through professional circumstances. We did some work together, and then we discovered that we had some very like-minded paths. And for whatever reason, I threw in, hey, we're not anything, and I put some parameters on it. And it was really interesting, because the feedback was, why is he doing that? Like, does he have a crush? Does he, like, what's really going on all that stuff? So I think what I was trying to do is just to be clear, because people do assume a lot. And it was kind of over the top, but even still, it wasn't something that actually needed to be articulated, and it just happened. So it was really good for me to see that was perfect, because look, when we do in one area of our lives, we often do in all areas of our lives, right?
Always.
So if I'm doing it with you, well, I don't know about always, but it's a pretty good measure. But if I'm doing it with you, then I've done it with other people. For sure. And I know that. And I'm not going to air that right now, but I know that. So, like, I just got caught, and it's all, recorded for posterity's sake or whatever. So that was a good look. That was a really good look. And we talked about also the fact that the last time, now it's all coming back, we had agreed to do a recording. We had agreed to have a conversation, just you and I.
Yeah.
And because we like to see each other, we decided just to do the video conferencing back and forth, right? And then you and I know each other well. I just showed up in a beanie and a hoodie and just didn't really care at all, because I didn't know that we were going to record, right?
Neither did I.
Well, yeah, but you always look, professional, and when I'm just lazing around the house, that's just kind of what I look like. But anyway, so I'm just making excuses all over again. But it was perfect because, you can't always control everything.
You can never control anything.
Well, people try.
Well, they
I
do,
do.
but you're lucky to control your own mouth, right? I mean, reality is you can't control people, places, and things. You're lucky to control your own response.
Yeah, I think, and then I think what happened was when I found out later that it was actually we were gonna post it, and I was just like, what the heck, just do it, just post it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I looked like, less than how I would, less than I would appreciate showing up to the world. And I'm like, well, if I show up anyway. Long story short, there was a lot of imperfect things about it, and I think that's a good segue into kind of diving in a little deeper.
Wait a minute. I'm going to stop you here because when you were talking, you said you were making a lot of assumptions, and I felt like you were assuming about people assuming. You said, people could be assuming things. Well, where does it show up in your life that you assume about assuming? Like people are judging or assuming?
Well, that's a really good question.
Thank you. I try.
Yeah. That's something I work on. No, seriously, it's not, I mean, with clients or with people that are in my life, or people like I work with young adults, and then, people that are not so young adults. But in any case, I often assume things that aren't really the case, and that causes a lot of stress. And so what I'm trying to do is just to address it head on, like we're doing today, more or less.
Well, the thing is that what I figured out is humanity does that, and you just said that was a Mark problem. I think it's a human problem.
Okay, well, I want to be special, and so.
Well, you are special.
I know. Yeah. Okay. So, did I answer your question, by the way?
No, you avoided it nicely. It's something you're working on, is what you said, but I asked where it showed up, and you didn't quite answer that.
Yeah, I did. There's people, maybe they won't show up for a coaching appointment. Maybe they won't show up, right? And then my mind goes to, maybe I didn't serve them well enough last time. Maybe they're done with me. Maybe they found something else, or, like that. And so I have to be aware of my monkey mind, because if I'm not aware of my monkey mind, it'll go off, and then I'll be stressed out, and I won't even really understand why I'm stressed out. But if I look back, I can figure out, okay, well, I'm stressed out because I made assumptions about other people, which not even true most of the time. Well, 90% of the time.
So what I hear you saying is you got the what if stories that play in your head. What if stories? What if you said, if a client doesn't show, you start, what if I didn't do this, and what if I didn't do that?
Yeah, and what if they don't want to work with me, and all that?
You call it monkey mind, which is interesting.
The monkey mind.
I feel like you just insulted yourself. What is that? That's so interesting. Monkey mind.
You know what the monkey mind refers to?
Please do tell. I love to learn from you.
Well, you and I, we did a sound bath.
Yes.
Do you recall that?
Oh, I've never forgotten that moment. That was amazing.
So part of the teaching there was to get control of your monkey mind, where your monkey mind wants to go off and just do its own thing wherever it wants to do its own thing. Right. But it's kind of coming back to center very carefully. And there's, tips and tricks. Once you focus on your big toe and you focus on different things, so you can come back to the present here in this moment, and not be trying to take care of this and take care of that, and oh my gosh, what about this and this? And that's the monkey mind going everywhere, trying to solve everything instead of just being right here in this moment.
Like
And
mindfulness.
like mindfulness. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
That's the
so
way I understand it.
being present in the moment is not easy. I mean,
No.
right. And then we're talking about being perfectly imperfect on our last podcast, and we weren't as mindful as we could have been. Maybe if we're more present, I wouldn't have had the technological glitches. I think I'm a bit more present this time where I'm like noticing, but without those imperfections, I wouldn't be noticing. Like without those imperfections, I wouldn't have learned to clear off my computer, to like turn it off, turn it on, just in case, so it has enough resources. I am very mindful of many mistakes because of our imperfections.
So what's your takeaway then?
Well, sometimes if we make mistakes, it makes us notice how we can be more present.
Yeah. So this is an interesting topic, because do you feel we made mistakes?
Oh, I technologically did, but I'm not used to making those particular mistakes, but this is a new venue and I did make some mistakes and I thought it was funny.
Yeah, but so you knew better and you just didn't do better.
No, I didn't know better because I had not done this particular method
Okay, so
before.
if you didn't know better, if we didn't know better, how could we have messed up?
True. It's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think last time we talked about, I don't know if we did, but it's like when you hear the word perfection in any domain of life, you have an image, a picture in your head of what it would be like for the perfect partner, the perfect bank account number, the perfect house, the way you want it laid out. You have an image in your head, right? You have an image, like, or you even have, I would call, like, picture image related to taste. Like, oh, this looks so good, but when you put it in your mouth, it's like, this is anything but the way I expected it to be. And it's that clash of your anticipation of what you think it should be versus what actually is in reality all the time.
It's a shock.
Right? Yeah, it's a shock.
Yeah.
And so I had some shocks knowing that I was going to be exposed in my normal clothes when I'm around the house in a beanie and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, damn it, I don't know if I want to do this again, right? But I'm like, oh, no, this is a good place to learn. Let's just get back up and do it again. Because I don't know if there is such a thing as perfect. But
no, well, I don't think so. It's called humanity. Humanity is flawed. I mean, there's no perfect humans I know of. I haven't met any yet. I don't know any perfect.
Let's dive into that a little bit. Sometimes when I hear you say humanity, I hear it as a catch-all. Oh, okay, everybody's not perfect. That means I can be, therefore, not perfect. Is that what you're saying?
To some degree.
Where does
of my humanity? Yes.
Where does then, as for you and for me and other people out there that really want to help ourselves and the humanity, where does that help? Because how do I say this? You're always growing and you're always wanting to improve. True?
Absolutely. There's not a time. I just had a training this morning.
Okay. So if that's the case, then where does perfection fit into that?
Well, I'm always striving towards goals, but if I fall short, I'm okay with that. And if I don't and I hit the target, I'm okay with that. However it comes out, if I'm not in acceptance of that, I won't stop that monkey mind from going crazy. I already know I am going to be seeking to be the best person I know how to be.
Yeah.
So I like to sit in, and it's okay. When I went to grad school, I said to myself, it's okay, I get B's. I just said it. It's okay, I get B's. Now, I ended up with all A's, I think one B, maybe two B's or something in the end of grad school. And I think, it was like, I still had put out the effort, but I accepted if I got a B, it was okay. And I was, raising my kids and going to school and doing a lot of things. And I just had to come to an acceptance. If I got a B, I didn't need to stress. And thus it freed me to get my straight A's because I didn't feel like I needed to be perfect within that. I was able to think better. I had more cognitive functioning by acceptance of if I missed a mark, it's okay.
Yeah, yeah, and for me, what I'm assuming might be happening in your mind and or anybody's mind that takes that approach is when we are so focused on the future and making sure it's going to look a certain way, like I'm going to get A's on my report card or whatever. It takes energy to focus on, oh my gosh, I can't be going out hanging with my friends. I need to be focusing on this. That it takes away some element of actually being able to perform.
Right. The energy is put
with the
somewhere.
end goal that you're not even present to what's happening right here and right now.
Right. So energy goes out somewhere. Can you see me?
Yes.
Energy goes out somewhere. And I'd rather put the energy into the thing that is going to get me to my goal instead of worrying about the not getting to my goal.
Yeah. And I remember hearing once that we're all in process. We're all in process.
We all are. That's recovery in its finest right there. We're all in the process. We're all in a spectrum of well, as I tell my coach, we're all in a spectrum of stupid, as any of us, and it's just a process that works.
Well, I would maybe change that to we're all in the process of ignorance, on the spectrum of ignorance.
Okay, you use ignorance and I'll say stupid. I think it's the same thing, but okay. I guess.
So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this, and I don't have an answer right now, but if someone wants to achieve great things in their life, and they're concerned about being perfect, then how do you help them through that? Because it's never going to be perfect. So what are we striving for if it's not perfection?
We're striving for goals, and we're noticing ourselves along the way without judgment.
We're striving for goals, and we're noticing.
I set goals, yes.
Yeah.
And then I go along the way, and if I notice I don't complete those goals, I say, that's interesting. I didn't complete that goal. I wonder what that means. I just get curious about it instead of living in, oh my God, because now all that energy goes into my body, creates adrenaline, raises my cortisol. I don't want that.
So what is it you want?
To complete my goal, whatever that thing is. I want to put my energy to that. No monkey mind, in other words, because that gets me off track to whatever my goal is. So, I learned in transformational training, if I take steps to a goal, then I linearly will make it to a goal. But if I'm taking steps here and I actually am, taking steps to something else and not realizing it, I'm not going to get to my goal. I'm going to end up over here somewhere.
Yeah, right. Right.
So how else do I do it unless I say to myself, I accept if I don't make it to my goal, but my aim is to take steps, however small they may be, to that goal.
Yeah. I think one of the things that's impacting me, or one thing that's really kind of changing the way I work with the clients that I work with now is small steps so that it becomes part of who you are, rather than, okay, I only have this much money in my bank account. I need to take, and this is just all concepts, and it's fine either way you want to look at it. But sometimes I think that there are approaches out there which they want you to go towards whatever with massive leaps and do all this stuff. But I think there's room to be a little careful with that, because if you continue to do that, then when is it ever going to be enough?
It won't.
So you raise your bank account, you have houses down at the beach and all this, wherever you have, whatever you have, but then you're always on to the next thing. I know people who, by anyone's standards, are very well off, and they're still moving forward. And I'm like, well, why?
Because they're filling a hole.
Because they're filling some kind of hole, maybe, I don't know. But I think there's a fine line between, look, continue to grow. I don't know. Hold on one second. I don't know why that happened.
What happened?
It just kind of, I'm able to see you for a second. Okay. So, like, that's another perfect interruption. My phone was off, but it's connected to my computer, so
right.
So it clicked you off. Anyway, I also think that perfection, this idea of perfection, that and or the fear of rejection prevents people from doing almost anything moving forward.
Yeah, but isn't it designed to do that to some degree? If we don't get somewhere, aren't we kind of stopping ourselves and then proving that we're imperfect?
Yeah. So we wanted to pull back and have like a helicopter view of the whole terrain. I think it'd be more advantageous to look at perfection as being a process rather than some kind of end result.
It's like the journey.
It's part of the journey. It's one little blip, right, that no one's going to care about. No one's going to remember. I don't care how many things you talk about the president. You talk about people over whatever. It's big news now. Oh my gosh, can you believe what happened? Blah blah. Oh my gosh, can't believe this. Blah. And then I don't know. It's 3 months later, 2 weeks later, because of the world, we forgot what happened, and now we're on to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Part of, I think, what also is happening with our society is we're so connected, technologically speaking, that everything needs to be happening faster, instantaneous. And if I don't get that $1 million, or if I don't get whatever this is, or if I don't get that hot date or whatever now, or whatever, then there's something wrong with me. And I think starting to slow down and get really intentional about kind of what direction you're heading, and then just make small steps. So for perfection for me is over a long period of time that you're continuing to evolve in an intentional manner and doing it slow.
It's so interesting that you said all this. I had already written down intentional living based on where the conversation was going. That's kind of where I've been living at lately, is being very intentional. And that's what you
dive into that. People that may not know, Carol, what do you mean? Like intentional living. What does that mean for you?
Being really clear about what relationships matter to me, what projects I'm going to put my time into, knowing where all my energy is to the best of my ability, deciding where it's going to go instead of inertia taking it there.
Okay, so you're choosing it.
Choosing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Figuring out who matters.
Are you choosing it in a way that creates a picture in your mind? In other words, like, it's like when you're intentional about certain people in your life, or when you're intentional about certain projects, what does that give you, or what are you hoping to get from that versus not living intentionally?
Well, I mean, I guess so that my goal to life is to make the biggest amount of difference in the world. However that splash looks, I don't know. But if I'm not moving toward that end goal, I don't like that thing can be pruned off or taken off. And it's interesting how many things can go away, or relationships or things in my house, because it's not going toward that end goal, which is making the difference while I'm on this earth.
Yeah.
But no, most people don't know that real goal. I think they have glimmers of it. It just depends on the person and how much they've dived into their understanding of themselves. What is your end goal?
My end goal?
Uh-huh.
I'm not totally clear on that. I don't have a. I'm serious. I'm totally honest about that.
I get it. Yeah. So Mark the mission statement has no clear mission.
Mark the mission statement.
Well, to some degree, we could be like a company or a machine or whatever that has some sort of mission. If we're not clear about that, how do we get it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, my mission has been so far to help people live their best life. Period. That's been my mission. I don't know if that's so far. Yeah. So far.
Okay. So you don't know if that's actually your mission in life.
Yeah, probably not.
So it sounds like that's a piece of your journey.
For sure. I don't think that's it's not my end game doing what I'm doing right now.
How do you know that?
I don't. But there's always been this like inner calling to something. Maybe it's delusional or whatever, something a little bigger. For example, impacting more people than just the one-on-ones. So for example, like I'm in Toastmasters and I love Toastmasters, but in Toastmasters, which is for public communication and stuff, they have competitions and they have time frames for in which you're supposed to speak, right? We talked about this, 5 to 7 minutes. And notoriously, I go over, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I go over. I'm like, what the heck? And and then I kind of tell myself, well, there's more to learn, obviously, because to me, life is about loving, learning, and having fun, and we're always learning. Like, what do I need to learn? Maybe I need to learn patience and just to slow down, and less is more when it comes to speaking. I still need to catch that one. But
or maybe you need to break the darn box and forget that you need to be put in the mold of Toastmasters.
Yeah, that's true too.
I don't think
maybe it's just not a good fit for me.
I don't think you're a box guy. I don't think you're you're outside the box guy, right? But you keep trying to fit yourself in the box. And I know I'm absolutely an out of the box girl. I find a way to name everything out of the box. I've been doing it for a while. I called a volleyball team I had the Inner Circle. And then I realized one day I wanted to be in the Inner Circle and I was never part of the Inner Circle. So I named my volleyball team the Inner Circle so I could finally be in there. And then I didn't want to be.
Well, yeah.
I mean, and that team kicked butt. We won every competition for years that I ran that team. However, I didn't want to be in the Inner Circle anymore. I wanted to break it. I wanted to be something else. And I was living as if that small circle was where I really wanted to stay. And that changed.
Yeah.
So I have to get curious about that.
Changed, though? Well, what is it that really changed? within you?
My mindset. It was just me. It was me
Yeah.
letting go of needing to be in that inner circle because I never was. That idea of not being the cool kid or a part of the rich people or however that looked. That I've never really thought about it. Geometrical shapes are like really important to me. And now I've let it go and I've started to guide clients through getting out of circles and getting out of boxes and recognizing, if you don't fit in that box, what does it matter? Smash the darn box.
Yeah, but that's what I'm talking about, though. I think other people have boxes that they assume that would be good for you to be in.
Yes.
Whether it's Toastmasters, whether it's your partner saying, hey, you should do it this way or that way, blah, blah. Society have boxes that they believe we should fit into, and then we try to live up to those boxy type things, like whatever it happens to be, we try to live up to that because that's the way sometimes our society is set up. I had a thought and I lost it. Yeah,
it's
systems.
Systems. So you just said assume again, by the way.
What?
People assume that we're supposed to be a part of those systems, so to speak.
Sure. So I like when it comes to Toastmasters or these other things, like I still assume that there's something like a little imperfect, which is fine, but it's not because I want to do better about speaking because it's hard for me to keep it within that 5 to 7 minutes. And I'm just like, what? I bang my head against the wall, but maybe that's just not the right place for me. Who knows? And I've been trying this thing for a long time, and maybe it's just not the right thing for me. But so often in my life, I don't know, maybe others too, it's like I want to continue to work at it because I want to get it right, even though it's not a good fit.
Right. So you just said that you're still striving to be perfect, even though there's no perfect human beings. And
No. I don't think I said that, but I might have.
I said that. I said that no perfect human beings. You said you were striving to be the best at that Toastmasters thing. I want to say
No. I want you to hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
I can't figure out really why I can't get past that limit of nailing a speech with under 5 to 7 minutes. I know all the tools, and I can't figure out why. And I wanted to be around in Toastmasters or whatever long enough, hopefully, that I would figure out so I can actually improve and grow in that. But I'm just hitting a barrier.
Well, I have to say, it's almost like the birth process is what I'm thinking with you, this Toastmasters thing. So you have honed your communication skills to the nth degree.
Yeah.
Right? And now it's time to be born into Mark with that knowledge of what you've learned to fly in the way Mark is meant to fly. And you want to fly within Toastmasters. And I say, how about fly in the world?
Well, I just don't know if that's, I've thought about this a lot. I spent a lot of time thinking about this. I don't know if that particular area that I'm in is the right fit for me. But
well, I mean, based on the evidence, which is I keep going over the time, I would say you already learned the lesson. You haven't fully come to acceptance of it.
But I still get stuck, and I think I don't. Maybe other people can relate to this, but
yes.
I still get stuck because I want to. Damn it! I want to nail it.
Right. You know what's so
I want to nail it.
You know what's so interesting about this? Relationships. So here's what I've noticed. I've done a lot of couples counseling. Yeah. And what I've noticed is that couples tend to find each other where they believe some part of that other person subconsciously will make whatever didn't work in their childhood, some sort of, experience they've had with their parents, come out right this time. And,
Yeah.
and so we go into that hoping that's going to heal us. We don't know that, but we just go, hey, that person has something. Oh, there's something that I relate to that fits in with me. And then we recognize that very thing that we pick that person for, now we're pointing fingers and saying, aha, you have that. I don't like that about you. But we're trying to make perfect what didn't work when we were kids. And reality is, maybe you're not supposed to make it through Toastmasters, or maybe they're not supposed to, maybe they're picking the same person over and over again. Usually that's the case. And they don't realize maybe they look different and act different, but they're still trying to fix that thing that didn't work when they were kids. That's what I see. And I've seen it with all relationships over and over again. Every couple to me is the same. That's why I'm writing a book called A Simple Guide for Relationship Success, because it's really so simple.
So how do you then figure out, like, if you were to coach me or you were to work with somebody with, it's like, I feel like I really want this, right? To feel kind of like I'm coming around the corner. I'm gonna get it. It's gonna happen. I'm committed, right? And I'm working with my coach and I'm doing all this sort of stuff. And it's like, when is it time to just let go and realize, hey, what you're fighting for may not be exactly what you think you're fighting for, and maybe it's somebody else's version of what you think needs to happen.
Well, I would say you are describing insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results when you've seen enough insanity.
No. Because I always get better, just not around the time thing. Like, I just don't do well with the time thing. And I do much better impromptu, like just going off and feeding off your energy or whoever else is energy. I do very well with that. When I'm just supposed to, like, everyone listen up. I have something really important to say. Listen to me. And then if you listen to me really well and you like what I have to say, then you clap. And maybe if it's really exceptional, then you give me a standing ovation. And basically, you're doing
dopamine hit.
Just to get, like, your agreement on the collection of thoughts that I put together and how I put it together, and maybe I change your life or whatever, all this other kind of stuff. But it's all, I don't know what it is anymore, because I just went into the stratosphere.
Well, I think it's a dopamine hit that you're getting from the audience. And you did hone your skills. Didn't I just say that? You have gotten better and better in the machinery called Toastmasters.
Yeah, for sure.
So that now Mark could be owning Mark, because you're friggin' amazing. And you're an amazing coach, you're an amazing communicator. Why do you have to fit in the mold called Toastmasters?
I don't know, because I'm kind of attached to it.
Okay, I think you're attached to it because it's become a challenge you've got to overcome. But what if you just let go of that? And here's what I did just yesterday. Okay, I imagined my company. I was closing my company. I went in my head and I imagined every bit of closing my company, what I would do, who I would tell, contacting the property manager, whatever, because I was hitting a wall. And I decided to sit in the uncomfortability and not fight my resistance and actually feel it. What if you imagined walking away from Toastmasters? What would your life look like?
Well, I know some inner stuff that's coming up. Some inner stuff would be coming up, like, oh, so you got close, but you didn't actually.
Yeah, failure, right?
Yeah, failure. Like, look, you learned a lot. Like, within the machine work of Toastmasters, you learned a lot, but did you make it? Did you win the competitions? No.
Okay, right? Well, when is enough? When is enough, Mark? Didn't you ask that question earlier?
What? Shut up.
And guess what? failure isn't perfect.
What?
Failure is being imperfect. You're going to come back to imperfection over and over again, because that is hands down the operating system of humanity. We are all imperfect, and we're fighting our imperfection.
Yeah, but no one even knows what the hell perfect means. Or does it come from us, or does it come from society? I know what perfection means, but I don't think it's an ideology that we should really consider.
Okay, so I think you should go for being perfect. I think that's working for you. I mean, all your energy being put for the rest of your life to gain that moment.
Shut your mouth. Shut your mouth.
To gain that moment of what?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Here's the thing. Like, you're so bad.
I got you, and you know it.
You did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, and that's my love language. When people get me, I normally tell them to shut up, and then I laugh a little bit. But you're right. So if I get to the stage where I win whatever it is that I want to win within that category of Toastmasters, whatever.
You want to go higher, sweetheart? Will you not?
No, but there's a limit, obviously, to be international speaker. But even still, even if I get that level, then what? Okay. then what?
You tell me. I'm very clear. I'm in acceptance over here. So you tell me.
You're in acceptance over what?
No, I'm in acceptance over my stuff. You are still in Toastmasters going, when's your next competition?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, maybe not. I don't know, but I'm always trying to think, because I'm always the guy that's about possibilities. Like, I can think about a million ways to do things, and so I try them. But one thing I probably don't try very well is just sticking to the rules within Toastmasters all the time. But
you are not a box guy. That is a rules thing. You are so out of the box.
Yeah, but what if I want to try to master the box? Right?
Humanity is trying to master the box. Humanity is. And they're frustrated.
Yeah, but everybody has their own little box.
Right. So everybody's walking around frustrated. And where's the acceptance? And what Buddhist concept is that? Because you know this stuff better than me.
I don't know. But I do know that, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I'm out of thoughts.
Okay. Well, I think this is where we wrap up. And
perfect. With me not having anything to say. This is perfect.
Well, it kind of is, right? I mean,
yeah. I'm not saying it's not. But no, you gave me some things. You gave me some things to think about, and when you give me things to think about, then I can't. Then I'm done. I'm cooked, as they say. Okay, so let's wrap it up. I'm sure you think so. Because I allowed myself to be a little bit vulnerable and be coached by you, and like, yeah, it's perfect for you. It's great for me too. It's great for me too.
You were imperfectly perfect, because you were showing people humanity struggles with these things. We all do. There's not a one of us that does not. It's how it works. It's just that if we can't accept our imperfections or be comfortable in our uncomfortability, or whatever you want to call that, we have more energy to put toward our goal, whatever that is.
Yeah, that's true.
So to get clear about our goal, is like, as in relationships, do you want to save this relationship or not? If not, hey, I'm happy to coach you to co-parent well. But getting clear about the goal is, in the end, I think, for me, what's important. What am I moving toward? How do I be intentional if I don't know what I'm being intentional about?
Yeah. And in the same vein, most of us are not looking for things. We're looking for the experience that things give us. So if I'm looking at that concept and I'm looking at Toastmasters, I'm not really looking at Toastmasters. I'm looking for the experience that I believe that Toastmasters or something will give me at that end day when I've overcome so much and blah, 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 blah.
So what I hear you say is you're still in the process, you're still in the journey. That's what you are looking at. And if you come to acceptance that the process and the journey is fine, wouldn't that give you more energy to then also decide what Mark really is called to?
No, not at all. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Okay, so any last things to wrap up? We actually did pretty good on time today.
Thank you. I try. Yes, we really did. We came together very well in terms of timing. I'd like to say that you're an amazing coach, and anybody that's looking for one, the fact that he got vulnerable takes a lot of courage.
How many times have you actually seen me do that, even one-on-one, and let alone now it's being recorded? I feel pretty good about myself.
I would say very seldom. Yeah. And I really like that about you, like that you have been vulnerable with me today. And it's so interesting to do that in front of a camera. I mean, as somebody who does that and who shows whatever, I look like heck in front of a camera as well at times. And that's fine too. I accept that too when that's there. Not to say I don't fight the process, because I do.
Yeah.
As human beings, we all do. But I'm just saying that you hands down are showing what a great coach you are, because you're willing to be vulnerable. You took down your mask, and that's really courageous.
Well, and I think that's also, well, thank you for sharing that. I also think that that's part of why we have community, is to help people kind of reduce the suffering a little bit, and like, look, you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to nail it out of the park, whatever that happens to be. And so thank you for sharing that, because I have been a little twisted up about losing some of the competition and stuff.
Well, I think you were meant to lose in some degree to
that's
teach
the way
you.
of it.
I mean, that's the way of it. So you could look at the possible positivities of it or not. It's really, you get to notice or not notice that.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing, right? Curious intentions. That is what this is about. And we're being curious. Today we're being curious about being perfect. I would have to say, and pull back for the audience, is that we would love to know what you want us to be curious about, because Mark and I, we have such a unique way of looking at things. And I think
we're not perfect.
Well,
so
I'm not absolutely guaranteed I'm not perfect. I'm very clear on that. And I can't be, I don't want to be. Actually, I don't want to be, because I'd feel I'd have to attain that all the time. And that sounds like too much energy too. So we're just getting curious about being curious, but we'd love to know what, any subject matter you'd like us to be curious about. And I'm going to put Matters of Attraction, Mark's website, and Carol Rose Atkinson, my website. And then if you need it, either one of us, let us know. You can contact us through our websites.
Great.
And I like to say, let's get curious. So next time, you can put up some comments. We have already a few ideas written down. And so, we don't know exactly where we're going to go with this next one. Maybe you could help us.
Sounds great.
Have a good day.
All right. Thank you. Have a great day.
Okay.
Bye, Carol.